Again here, feisty, kind, compassionate. These are just some of the phrases used by President Cyril Ramaphosa to describe the late ANC Deputy Secretary General Jessie Duarte. Duarte passed away early this morning after a battle with cancer. The president says Duarte was a loyal ANC member who served with humility and passion. He delivered her eulogy this afternoon.
Comrade Jessie was a faithful, dedicated, and fiercely loyal leader of the African National Congress. It is difficult to imagine the ANC without our beloved Deputy Secretary General, and to think that we will never again hear her voice and her humorous laughter carrying down the corridors of Luthuli House. For close on to 10 years, she served as the ANC's Deputy Secretary General. For 25 years, she served on the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. And from the years of her youth to her final days, she served the people of South Africa with distinction, with dedication, with humility, and with passion.
Ramaphosa joined a number of people in remembering Duarte as a fierce feminist.
Even in the democratic era, Comrade Jessie was relentless in advancing the position of women in all areas of public and private life. She confronted the patriarchal attitudes and practices that sought to diminish the role and contribution of women in parliament, in government, and across society as a whole. She did not hesitate to confront inadequate representation of women in the structures of the African National Congress itself.
ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile says Jessie Duarte was firm, but not in a malicious way.
When we're Comrade Jessie would really relax, and then sometimes I'll say to her, "Hey, Comrade Jessie, I see you're fighting with these journalists." And they'll say, "Yeah, Paul, man, you must tell them off when these other people, sometimes they just create problems. I'm not going to stop. I'll tell them off." And we would laugh about it, and really, but she meant good at all times.
The ANC's KZN chairperson, Sihle Zikalala, has described Duarte as a leader with principles.
She was a person who would speak her mind and speak genuinely and honestly on any issue. She was always principled, guided by the ANC principles on how the ANC deals with issues, but she was an activist. Wherever you see that people are suffering, she will be there with them. She would love to work on the ground with ordinary people. And she never believed that she must equal herself to the elite, but she wanted to always be with the people on the ground. Very firm on the principle of building a non-sexist society. Any form of discrimination was always wrong for her, which made her to be one of those leaders who are respected in the ANC. While she was very emphatic of gender equality in the ANC, she was also emphatic of a society we are building, a national democratic society where we will eliminate all forms of discrimination. She would say she's not part of the minority. She would go further and say some can't even say minority, but they would say minority. And she would emphasize that we should regard all South Africans as equal. And even within the ANC, she used to raise the issue of regression when it comes to the national question. And she was one of the outstanding cadres in terms of understanding the philosophy of the ANC as a national democratic organization.
Jessie Duarte's family say they'll always remember her selfless and caring nature.
At the time when she was experiencing the most unimaginable pain, she wanted to shield us from witnessing that pain, as she knew that it would cause us distress. This selfless nature of embracing of the other was part of Jessie's DNA. Learning from our mum, Julie, she sacrificed her own comfort and well-being to take care of others. My brother Abbas, John Duarte's brother Emmanuel, my brother Musa as well at some stage, and myself all know this too well. Jessie and John took us into their homes at a time when they had very little, but they shared that little with us as we had nowhere else to go. This nurturing and looking after the well-being of others extended to non-family members too. Strangers in the need of shelter knew that they could come to her house, whether it be in Nuclear, Reveille, or Observatory, and they knew that they would find a warm bed, food, and comfort, irrespective of how small the space was. In Nuclear and Reveille, the houses were small, but she would tell us to shift up whenever people were in need of shelter and care. Patrick Flask was one of those, and he reminded us how Abbas and I had to shift up for him, and we didn't have a single bed to share between us, but he stayed with us for a very long time, and Yusha ended up on the floor. Yeah. So, Jessie's houses therefore became known as the shift-up houses. When I asked the son, Yusha, what you would like to say to his mum now, if he had the chance, he said, it would be 2 words only: thank you. That expression of gratitude comes from all of us in the family, as all of us at some time or the other were blessed by her kindness and caring nature.